Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk Scranton Prep Wrestling. Thor Balavage joining us right now. Thor, hey, congratulations, 100 career wins, and now tying the career win record there at Scranton Prep. You're going to break it very shortly and talk about what it's like for you. It feels pretty darn good, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just really excited to be able to finally have all my wins and all my work pay off. It's been a long 4 years with prep wrestling. It's been hard to be patient and wait for the 100 wins, and now to take over the school record at 105. So it's just been, a nail-biting, long, drawn-out process that I'm happy I finally accomplished.
Staying healthy is hard to do after all those years. Talk about being able to make sure you fight through a lot of things, little injuries, nagging injuries, and different things like that. How's that going for you here in your senior year?
Pretty good. We played football real late in the season, so a little banged up, but that stuff kind of figures itself out, heals itself. You don't really notice it as much when you're in it as when you're playing as much, and you don't. It's hard to say, but you don't let it bother you as much when you're actually competing during practice and between practices and stuff like that. It's nagging, but during a match or during a game, it doesn't really bother you at all because your adrenaline rush is going. So, it's a hassle, but it's part of the sport.
You're a guy with a motor, as you see on the football field. You're going on every offensive play. You're going on defensive plays. You're all over the place. So let's go back to that football season for Scranton Prep. It was a special one here in your senior year.
Yeah, absolutely. To win the school's first district championship, we have that. So I'm in the history for that. We were part co-champions in the Lackawanna League. Coach Donato's last year, his first district championship at Prep. I don't know how many in his career. We just had really a full experienced year here at Scranton Prep football. Coach Donato ending the way he did with Coach of the Year. A lot of pieces fell into place for us, I would say.
Thor, for you, playing offense, playing defense, did it really matter? You just kind of like getting out there and getting after it and making sure that you're winning the battle one play at a time, one game at a time?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't really have a preference. I like defense a little bit more than offense, but I would say that's a safe assumption for a lot of people. Coach Donato stressed that a lot. Win every battle, win every play, and if every person wins their own little play and their own little individual battle, that the team will ultimately succeed off of that. So that was something he really taught us and really stressed to us a lot. So, that was definitely a goal for not only me, but every other kid on the team.
Well, you had a lot of brothers, so to speak, on your team, but you had one legit brother, and Ivan Balavage. Talk what it was like to get to play with him here at Scranton Prep, and then that group of linemen you guys had. That was special as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing with my brother, we played football all the way from, bitty football, D-team football, and this was the first year that we were on the same team. So for me to share that experience with my brother in my last year, being able to play with him side by side was something that I'll never forget. We ended up getting to play in the state game together when we lost a linebacker. So to say that was an experience that I'll never forget is, that was just once in a lifetime, and it truly was once in a lifetime to be able to play on the same team with him. So that was something I enjoyed and will always forever keep with me. Playing with that offensive line, though, and that defensive line, but that was just something that I've never been a part of. It was always something we talked about, having a big offensive line. Especially freshman football, as petty as it sounds, we had those big bodies and knew the potential, but always looked up, me, Corey Christian, and Matt DeAndre always had to look up to Joe Holmes and Noah Bay and John O'Boyle. So that was the line we were behind, and that's what we went against every day when we were sophomores. So it was something I think that all of us kind of silently agreed to, that this is how we want to be when we became seniors. And I think that hopefully we set the same tone as the sophomores we went against all year this year. So, it's just something great that Scranton Prep has built in, that they build these lines up, and it takes a couple of years, and then they have one solid group, and then it's a rebuild, and then that next year it's another solid line. So, it's just and playing with those guys. I mean, Matt DeAndre going to continue on playing at Fordham. Corey Christian, not really sure where he's going to go yet, but he's going to play big D1. So, I mean, to play with those caliber kids all year round, both ways, on both sides of the ball is truly an honor.
And a physical group you guys were, and you kind of honed in on that physicality, and you seem to do that in football. How about for the wrestling, Matt? Talk about what your style is. How physical are you? What do you try to get after when you're out there on the wrestling mat?
I it's hard to say. I like to be physical, but I also like to be a little bit laid back, a little bit more smart. Just by learning, you can't be too overly aggressive sometimes. When you're doing moves or you're in a scramble or a situation, you have to be overly aggressive, but sometimes there's more than just being aggressive. You have to have some finesse, have some, it's a game of chess, absolutely. So you have to outthink your opponent, but at the same time, out muscle, out speed. So to say it's as aggressive as football is, yes, it's comparable, and it's absolutely just as aggressive, if not more. But it's not only aggressiveness that gets it done, So
Thor Balavage is going to be making a decision on what he wants to do for his college career. He loves football. He loves wrestling. Thor, you're going to take your time, though, and wait until the spring, probably when wrestling season's over, and kind of say, okay, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that, and this is what I'm going to do.
Absolutely, yeah. That's definitely my plan. I'm a little biased during the individual sport when I'm in its season. So for me to make a decision in December, January, February and say, oh, I'm going to go wrestle in college is just something, it's a biased choice. So for me, I'm going to have to wait until I'm out of wrestling. I've been out of football, and then I'll sit down and I'll consider all my options and figure everything out.
Well, no matter what, your family is behind you. They're with you, taking you through everything. Talk about the family and the support you're getting for whatever you try to do in life. They're there for you.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, my family has been the most integral part of my success. Ever since I've been little, they've been my biggest supporters. Whether it be at every match, every football game, every tournament across the country that we've been driven to on a Saturday and come home, and then we'll go again to another one on a Sunday. The countless hours spent in smelly gyms when we were little. It's just all been put together and pushed in the direction of success, and that's only thanks to my family. So I really can't thank them enough, and all these opportunities are only because of them and what they've done for us since we were little kids. So for me, it's my success, but it's a shared success as well.
Thor, you've got about a month to go here before the district championships. You're hoping you could do something there and hopefully move on to regionals and so on. Tell us about right now what those goals are for you.
Absolutely. I've been training rigorously with, my partner, Ivan. He's been my big drill partner, but along with Bruce Parole and Tommy Carroll, those guys have been really the horses in the room. I come to practice sometimes, and these are the ones that are these kids, they're running the practice. They're keeping the intensity up when I'm tired, or if I'm, whatever the case may be. If there's any drop-off between me leading the team, those guys they've stepped in, they've been the lead before. So, to have those guys with me in the room at all times is something that's been really a key part. But for us, we've all been training with a big, a daily reminder. District is less than a month away, and we kind of continually flaunt the fact, what do you want to, how do you want to be remembered? So we come to practice every day, work hard. So it's nice to be a part of something that's growing at Scranton Prep, at least for right now. The wrestling team has been getting better continually since I've been there. When I started as a freshman, we were an okay team, and I would say we turned it around to be a pretty good team this year, especially for the past couple of years. And I can only see it going forward with the skill and talent that we've brought in continually year after year. Our sophomore and freshman class, they have some promising athletes that can truly turn into great wrestlers. So for me, it's exciting to have a team that's equally as successful.
Well, we wish you well in your quest there as that next month heats up a little bit more in wrestling season. Of course, the best of luck in your future endeavors when you make that decision come March or April, all right?
Yeah, thank you.
Thor Balavage from Scranton Prep here on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.